ready. We're live.
We are live. All right, Commissioners, you guys ready to go? Good. Misty, you good?
Yep.
All righty. We'll call this meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We're good, Jimmy. Back.
All right, roll call. Misty Hess.
Here.
All right, RJ Donovan here. Bill Peebles.
Here.
And before we move on to the agenda, I'd like to congratulate Mr. Peebles on being the newly elected commissioner for District 2.
Thank you.
And welcome to the meeting. Alrighty, we'll move on. Approval of minutes from December 17, 2024, December 19, 2024, and January 15th, 2025. I'll entertain a motion for those minutes.
Everything just froze.
Technology works until it doesn't.
Yep. When he went off, everything froze.
It looks like we're
It
still
is.
moving on the
Still
screen.
showing your live.
Am I?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, I'll entertain a motion for the minutes presented.
I'll make a motion.
I have a motion by Misty Hess. Do I have a second?
A second.
Second by Mr. Peebles. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, motion carries. All right, approval of claims from January 31st, 2025. Do I have a motion to approve claims as presented?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Misty Hess. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Bill Peebles. Do I have any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. All right, approval of payroll for January 31st as presented tonight. Do I have a motion to approve payroll?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Misty Hess. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Bill Peebles. Do I have any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, in your packet, I believe you have the county treasurer report. We can acknowledge that we received that. Thank you. You guys have any questions or comments on the treasurer report in your packet?
Do not.
No? All right, moving on. We'll open the time up for public comment if anybody in the public would like to make any comments to us. Nobody? Full crowd, no comments? All righty. All right, moving on. Signing ordinance 2025-3, where the commissioners have repealed ordinance 2024-5. John, does any of you vote on that, or is that just
I think you already voted on it.
so just sign that?
Yeah,
Vote on?
you're
Okay.
just enacting what you voted to do.
Okay, we will do that after the meeting. Next open issue, Text My Gov proposal. Bill, I'm unaware if I got this sent to you or not. I think we might have sent it to the commissioners before you were here. Thank you. Misty, I think, has seen it. The county, we've identified that the county has a notification issue, you might say, for county residents to be notified of public meetings. Yeah, we'll just say public meetings for that fact. But this Text My Gov proposal is something where department heads like the sheriff's department, health department, the assessor office, I think, is here tonight, to where they could utilize a system to send out messages, whether it's taxes, health department, whatever the case may be. Zoning could use it to notify of special meetings like the I-74 corridor. We had a Zoom call today with Paige. Would you say there was 12 of us on the call, 12, 13, with department heads, and it was overwhelmingly supported by all of them that were on the call. I'll send you the proposal, but it essentially is $8,500 up front. And then after that, it's $6,500 a year, and that's up to, I think, 50,000 text messages. And it's a minimum 3-year contract, but the commissioners don't have any funding right now to do something like that. So if the board would be in favor of that, it's something that we would vote to approve to send to the county council to fund. So we can discuss it more tonight, or if you'd like, I can get you that proposal. I'm sure the auditor's office probably has a copy of it, but that's what that proposal is listed on the agenda tonight.
Okay. What
Yeah, you were on a Zoom meeting today with it.
Yeah, I think it's a great program. If you don't, Paige, would you mind coming up? Would you mind coming up and giving your feedback, what you thought, since you're here and you were on that call? I guess Mark is too. I guess I could ask Mark, but yeah, Mark's not. Paige can give you a little bit of an update from him, but yeah, I think it's a great system for the community to use, and I'll let.
Paige Kilgore, County Assessor. It was great. I liked it. We can do, the way I understood it, we can do like one county number that would encompass all of the county. And then as for my department, I could make up my own that could be like a subsidiary of that. So then if you wanted to sign up for my text, you could, or the health department's text, or we could just leave it flat and just be one group where all residents that sign up for it can get the county text to be informed. I think it's great because it automatically, I think he said that he could pull 9,000 phone numbers.
Yep.
So we're already going to start out with that many members, and then people will get to opt out of it if they don't want the text. It was brought up about, Bart Mooney brought up, we don't want to overtext, so we don't want to take advantage of the thing. But I think would be great with not us having a newspaper. And while Eric does a great job, and I believe the surrounding newspapers do a good job, I think after sitting at the Redevelopment Commission's meeting a couple weeks ago, it's very evident that there are people in the county that feel left out, like they don't know what's going on. So to get Eric's information, you have to be on Facebook, and not everybody's on Facebook, but most people do have a cell phone. So, and I think the health department even said they mailed out 2 flyers for the free food that they just gave away, and didn't Wendy say $9,000?
9,000.
$9,000 for 2
Yep.
mailings.
Yeah, so that would pretty much.
Yeah, so for one department, it could pay for the mailings. And like, you know, even for Paige's office, if people move or something, they could get a text, they could notify the office. There was some discussion about how would you measure success, but I think success is just notifying the public. So I think at 9,000 numbers, we're already over 50% of the public being notified. And I think that's a huge plus. I think maybe our meetings get attended a little bit more, maybe taxes get paid on time, people say, hey, you're...
Riley, what do you think? I mean, I don't mean to interrupt, but
I think it'd be a great thing.
because
Just
Riley's
like
from the
you said.
north, and he understands.
Like you said, you know, not everybody's on Facebook, especially the older generation and stuff like that. And, you know, from Bureau and stuff, I'm on weekly update text lines, and it's simple as say no, opt out. So, you know, people feel like they are bombarded. It would be pretty easy to opt out of that.
Yeah.
If they do want the information, it would be a great source. But yeah, I would echo what, I can't remember who said it, but, you know, don't overuse it, because then people will just glance and then not
Pay attention.
For sure.
But I think Mark brought up, and I don't know what we currently use, what you use that said that could be integrated with it, so.
We use Nixle right now, which is paid for by Duke Energy. Okay? It's not really being used. And what I was talking about was a system called iPause.
Yes.
iPause is a national thing that if there's bad weather, they automatically send stuff out to National Weather Service. If there's something big happening, they send it out. And you can actually have the iPause stuff go directly into this system, the Gov, whatever it is. And that way nobody in the county is even putting anything in. They're automatically getting these things. That would be probably, to me, or for EMA, that would be the best part of it.
Yeah, for sure.
One thing we could probably do is approach Duke and see if they'd be willing to move that funding.
Move it over towards that. Yeah, that's a thought.
'Cause they're paying more than that right now, I'm pretty sure,
Really?
on Nixle.
Okay, that's definitely a good point. Thank you, Mark. So board, is there any other discussion on this proposal tonight?
What are you looking for?
Well, if the board is in favor, I would like to move this towards the county council to garner the $8,500 and the funding for the contract for the 3 years, the $6,500 after the initial 85.
I'll make that motion.
Make that motion. All right. Do I have a second?
I will second it.
Second. Any other discussion? No. I would just say that I think this is a good program for the county, and I think letting the citizens know that we're very proactive in getting things out is a good thing. So I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. And Misty, if you'll get that contract or proposal, we'll sign that and get that sent for additional for the county council. All right, new business. Ordinance 2025-4, closing courthouse on January 10th, 2025. All right, I'll read this by title. County Ordinance 2025-4, closing the Vermilion County Courthouse on January the 10th, 2025 due to inclement weather. Do I have a motion to approve this ordinance before us?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Mr. Peebles. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Ms. Hess. Do I have any discussion? If not, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. Ordinance 2025-5, allowing claim payments in advance of allowance. And I think this is the, John, is this the first? I think this is the first reading, isn't it?
Yes. Yes.
And ordinances have to be unanimous to be passed in the first reading.
Yes.
Okay. Misty, would you like to read this in its entirety, or would you like?
No, I'll you.
I'll read it in its entirety then, since it's first reading. County Ordinance 2025-5, claim payments in advance of board allowance ordinance for Vermilion County. An ordinance allowing claim payments in advance of allowance, whereas this came to the attention of the Board of Commissioners of Vermilion County that certain claims in need of approval by the board sometimes become due at times where there is not an upcoming meeting where those claims might be approved in a timely manner. Some of these claims, like payroll, leases, maintenance, and service agreements, if not paid, may interfere with the ability of local government to deliver vital services. IEC Code 36-2-6-4.5 contains a provision that certain claims may be paid in advance of approval. The text of the statute is set out in full below. Now be ordained and enacted by the Vermilion County Commissioners at Section 1 that IC Code 36-2-6-4.5 sets the following procedure. 36-2-6-4.5 claim payments in advance of board allowance. A county executive may adopt an ordinance allowing money to be dispersed for lawful county purposes under this section. B, notwithstanding IC 5-11-10, with the prior written approval of the board having jurisdiction over the allowance of claims, the county auditor may make claim payments in advance of board allowance for the following kinds of expenses, and the county executive has adopted an ordinance under subsection A. 1, property or services purchased or leased from the United States government, its agencies, or its political subdivisions. 2, license or permit fees. 3, insurance premiums. 4, utility payments or utility connection charges. 5, general grant programs where advanced funding is not prohibited and the contracting party posts sufficient security to cover the amount advanced. 6, grants of state funds authorized by statute. A whole other page. 7, maintenance or service agreements. 8, leases or rental agreements. 9, bond or coupon payments. 10, payroll. 11, state or federal taxes. 12, expenses that must be paid because of emergency circumstances. 13, expenses described in an ordinance. C, each payment of expenses under this section must be supported by a fully itemized invoice or bill and certification by the county auditor. D, the county executive or the board having jurisdiction over the allowance of the claim shall review and allow the claim at its next regular or special meeting following the pre-approved payment of expenses. History as added by PL 89-2001, Section 6, amended by PL 234-2005, Section 191, PL 145-2006, Section 373, 146-2008, Section 688, PL 141-2009, Section 8, Indiana Code 36-2-6-4.5, claim payments in advance of board allowance, Indiana Code 2025 edition. Section 2, the Board of Commissioners of Vermilion County adopts an ordinance allowing money to be dispersed for lawful county purchases under 36-2-6-4.5. Section 3, should any section, paragraph, sentence, clause, or phrase of this ordinance be declared unconstitutional or invalid for any reason by any court of competent jurisdiction, such provision shall be deemed severable and the remaining portions of this ordinance shall remain in full force and effect. Section 4, all ordinances or parts of ordinances or resolutions that are inconsistent with the provisions of this ordinance are repealed to the extent of such inconsistency. Adopted and passed by the Vermilion County Board of Commissioners this blank day of February 2025. So that's the ordinance in its entirety. If there is no objection to this, we could pass this as a first reading tonight. If someone would like to make a motion to allow this, since we are meeting one meeting a month.
I think we need to open this up for discussion.
Absolutely.
My question would be what changes from the way it currently is operated to adopting this ordinance?
So, but prior to this, the last 4 years, the commissioners met every 2 weeks. So they were approving them as they came in every 2 weeks. Prior to that 4 years, John, you might be able to help with this. The commissioners used to do something similar to this.
They've done some different things over the years. One was to have a special meeting whenever payroll needed allowed, or sometimes they would approve claims at both the first and second meeting of the month. What this does is if that timing would be off, and let's say it's payday here, and if we don't have a special meeting, nobody gets their paycheck. So the idea would be that the auditor, the things listed in that statute, the auditor could make payment and then come to a meeting and say, I paid these in accordance with the statute, and then you guys could approve the payment after the fact.
All right. Any other questions or discussion on it? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve this ordinance.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Mr. Peebles. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Ms. Hess. And any other discussion? Call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, motion carries. Let me see, I don't know which one's the official one, but we'll sign it after the meeting. All right, Mike Holtkamp, Sheriff purchasing new vehicles for 2025. I don't believe Mike's here, but I believe Mr. Hennis is.
Hello, Chad Hennis, Chief Deputy Sheriff's Office. We got time to purchase new vehicles for Sheriff's Office, requesting approval to make that purchase. We have located 3 2024 leftover Tahoes that are brand new at, I believe it's Kelly Chevrolet in Fort Wayne. That's where we've got our other vehicles from. And the price on them is around $51 to $52 a piece. One of them has the back seat out of it, ready for a canine cage to be put in, because one of them will be going to a canine vehicle. So we were requesting or asking permission to go ahead and make that purchase out of our budget.
And Chad, you guys already have the funding there for those purchases, right?
According to the email I got from the sheriff, yes.
Awesome.
It's in our budget.
Okay.
And then
Commissioner, do you have any questions for Mr. Hennis? If not, I'll entertain a motion for the approval presented before us by the Sheriff's Department.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Misty. Do I have a second?
A second.
Second by Bill. Do I have any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you, Chad.
okay, got more.
More? All right.
Okay, our old vehicles
Okay.
that are going out of service, Mike wanted me to get approval or to either give them to another department within the county, like county department agency,
Mm-hmm.
or to sell them. I'm not sure how many vehicles he's looking at taking out of the fleet, probably 3, since we
Okay.
got 3 new ones, but I'm not sure exactly. So I know last year we give a couple to a couple of offices here, I think, or
Sure.
the year before last, so
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I'll leave it up to the board's decision, but I think in the past, I'm always in favor of the department head making that decision, whether it's, the sheriff, if you guys deem that no other office holder could utilize them in the county and you could sell them, whether it's at auction or gov deals, that would probably be my preference. Commissioners, any comments or?
Or maybe a local police department needs a
Yeah,
replacement
yeah.
vehicle and we can
sure.
help them out or something.
Yeah, I think, I think the assessor's office now, I think they're using an old sheriff's vehicle. But yeah, I think as long as you guys are recycling them and using them at the discretion of the sheriff,
Okay.
anybody else object to? No, it's fine with us, Chad.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay. Right-of-way service agreement for Bridge 37 with Clark Dietz. Kylie, is this you? Want to come up and? Clark Dietz is not here tonight.
So Bridge 37 is one of our no-throw bridges, and we are to the point where we need to get our right-of-ways either sold or bought or whatever, so we have a service agreement part that we have to get passed and signed off on, so we can start working on that with them.
Sure. This Bridge 37, this has been, like you said, a NOFA project, and these are every so many years, is that right?
Yep, this one's letting is 2026. We just
2026.
we just let Bridge 122 in December, so.
Okay. And it's the recommendation of the Highway Department to approve the consulting contract with Clark Dietz?
Yep.
Okay. Commissioners, any questions for Kylie? No? All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve the LPA consulting contract with Clark Dietz as presented before us tonight.
Where's Bridge 37 at?
I don't have them on memorized. It is
I
down
want-
south.
Yeah, I want to say it's down south. I think the numbers go up because like clear up by I-74, it's like Bridge 90, Bridge 89. So my guess would be probably around District 2 area would be my guess.
Yeah.
Is it, it's not the bridge in Hillsdale? The big one on the
No,
old
that's
state
Bridge
highway?
122,
Okay.
and it's gonna start
Like I
work
said,
sometime
different
in,
than-
I think, May is when they're starting.
It's Old
to work
State
on
Bridge.
that.
Yeah, that's a big project.
Yes.
All right, I entertain a motion to approve the contract as presented.
I'll make the motion.
Motion.
I'll second it.
Second. Any other discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. All right, the CCMG 2024-2 bid opening. We have two before us. Does anybody have one of those
Letter
envelope
openers.
openers?
Do not.
We'll just
No.
get a paper cut, it's okay.
On my luck, I will. That's all right.
I have a key, do you need the key?
Nah, it's all right.
Okay.
All right, Pavement Solutions Incorporated is the first one we'll be opening. Oh, there we go. That's right on the top. That's easy. All right, total base bid for Pavement Solutions is $425,486.52. That was submitted. We'll set that. Christy, I'll hand that to you so you can put that back in that for me. Next one is Evergreen Roadworks LLC. All right, so for Evergreen Roadworks LLC, it looks like the combined total unit bid price is $500,489.38. All righty. See, I'll give that to you as well. And Commissioners, as discussed for the meeting, Kylie, you said we're going to have another special meeting to approve a contract anyway. If we can take these bids under advisement, have Clark Dietz review them to make sure they meet all the criteria. Documents are signed, sealed, delivered, and after they review them, they'll make a recommendation, and then at our next special meeting, we could approve that per their recommendation. If that works for you guys.
That's what we got Clark Dietz on the payroll for, right?
Yep, they handle a lot of the community crossing grants for us for the year, so they'll make sure all those documents are, because sometimes companies don't submit the correct documents, so having them review all that works out. So if you guys are good with that, we'll take them under advisement.
I'm good with it.
Okay. And Kylie, while we're at it, do you want us to go ahead and schedule that meeting then while we're talking about this? Sure. Commissioners, do you have any preference for a special meeting? It would be strictly for awarding that and the contract, is that right? Okay.
What kind of time frame do you think we need to be looking at, Kylie, to allow them the time to review that documents?
I can give Clark Dietz everything by tomorrow, so probably the week of the 17th would be good. So they have time to, notify whoever things, and then they can get you their documentation.
Okay. Does anybody, what's your schedule look like the week of the 17th? I know the 17th is a holiday, isn't it, President's Day?
Yes,
So you'd be off work that day then?
I'm actually gonna be gone.
The entire week.
No, just that day.
Just
I've already
17th.
committed to my family in Indy,
That's
but I'm gonna
that's
come over
okay.
and take care of my nephew.
Sure.
So,
Phil,
yeah.
do you have any preference on meeting dates? Because it'll be a short meeting. It'll be it'll be kind of like our Board of Finance meeting. So like John won't need to attend. It can just be a very short. So if two of us could meet early or whatever time any of us could meet, we would need the full board if we could.
I'm looking at, what's the Friday that week?
There's the calendar right there. 17th is on a Monday. 21st.
21st.
I can't see that.
21st on a Friday.
21st on a Friday.
Would that be soon enough?
Yeah, that's fine.
That date works best for me.
21st.
Yes.
Okay. Is any time on the 21st?
Anytime.
Anytime. Misty, you would only be available after
4:30. So
After.
after 4:30. So I would be available to be here by 5:30 at the earliest.
5:30. Okay.
Yep. So
Um,
if you don't need me and you two can handle it, that's fine too.
Okay. I have a prior engagement Friday evening, so if you wouldn't mind, if we could have it early in the morning that morning, would that be all right?
That's fine with me.
That work?
That's
Okay.
fine.
Say I don't know, does 8:15 work or you want?
That's not early.
Well, the courthouse don't open till 8, so I
got a key.
well, true. We could go earlier if you want, I guess.
We'll be here at 8. So
8:15's fine.
8:15. Kylie, we'll meet on the 21st at 8:15. Yeah. I like Bill. Before we couldn't get any meetings out early. Shoot, if you want to meet at 7, all right, I'm open to it.
I'm up to 5 o'clock every morning, so.
5's a little early for me, but if we had to, I could make it work. All right, we'll move on to the next item. Well, I'll put this at the bottom. There's no action item on it yet. So I'll move to G, Perrysville Park discussion. John been working on this a little bit. The Perrysville Park, the County Parks Department has maintained it for a multitude of years. And it came to the attention of the trustee's office that it was still in their name. The county, or the park is, I should say. They've requested that the County Parks Department or the commissioners move to correct that and make that a county park per se, move it into the actual ownership of the county. And John will do that if instructed by the Board of Commissioners. And I've talked to Cindra Dewey, and that's what she would like to do as the trustee. And the county is already maintaining it. We've invested money into the park. So I think it's kind of more of a formality just to instruct John to move forward with that if you guys are in favor of doing that.
I'm in favor of that.
Okay. Misty, any?
Yep, I'm good.
Good. John, then could you work on that then and work with them to work on those documents to officially take that over, since I'd say it's just been dropped over the years. So thank you. We'll move on to the next. We have a Joink bead grant. Somebody here from?
Yeah, absolutely. Evening.
Evening.
So we were wanting to,
your name, please.
Timothy McCombs. We're applying for a bead grant, which is a federally funded grant to provide broadband to residents that normally wouldn't have that. We've built, I think, Next Level Connections 1, 2, and 3 throughout the county is where the main path you see us going, and the counties went in on some of that with us. We're continuing that as long as we can. This grant here requires no matched funds at all, so it'll be Joink's pocket in the state or the federal pocket. The county won't have to do anything, and what that does is it allows us to build to these houses that are, if they were to call today and they were even 1,000 foot from our fiber, there's a cost to that build. So it's taking that cost away, and it's allowing us to build to these residents that are eligible. We would love to have a letter of support, which is what I presented you earlier, that would just show the state that you guys don't mind working with us, and yeah, so that's what I'm here for.
And commissioners, earlier or late last year, we had another company called Mainstream came and asked for the same thing, a letter of support. It is no cost to the county. Some of these companies have told us, like Mainstream, if they are awarded the grant, they may come to the county and say, hey, we're doing this regardless, but we could also do a little bit more if you give some money. So that's always a possibility if they come back. But letters of support in the past doesn't hurt to sign a letter of support for multiple agencies, because we don't know how the state's going to rank you, or the federal government. We don't know how that's going to work out. So we would take anybody that wants to bring fiber or anything to the county, right?
Yeah, and I should explain also that a letter of support, it actually goes a long way toward the grant. There's a point system that you're awarded the grants on. I work with RJ quite a bit, and I've worked with prior commissioners to make sure that when there is things going wrong in the county, I'm on top of it. And we're trying to make things right. Look for a handhold forever for someone. Drove my truck up and down the road, but yeah, I think that letter of support would go a long way, and it'll it's not helping the company as much as it would be helping the residents that call all the time for service, and it's really hard to move fiber and try to charge $60 a month for internet when it costs you $6,000 or $7,000 to build to a house. So, and sometimes more than that.
Sure.
Some of these places that are up for this grant, I mean, you're talking a lot further from our main line right now.
So Tim, in your proposal, how much fiber, or what are you guys looking at investment wise?
Total estimate has not been completed. I know that we were over a few hundred rural houses that we'd be servicing on this grant project.
Okay.
So, and that's not to exclude all the ones we've already passed and making serviceable. So
for sure.
And those are just eligible homes, I should say. So if they were near something else and credited or claimed as a ineligible, we'll still be passing them and setting those up. So.
Okay. Any other questions?
My concern would be right-of-way agreements.
So I'm kind of glad you brought that up. We've in the past had a lot of issues with right-of-way in Vermillion County, and there was the commissioners actually passed a bill that granted 20 foot of right-of-way.
Yeah, I think it was like a generic ordinance, but yeah, the surveyors brought that up as well, that needs addressed. That's something else the commissioners will have to review going forward. But yeah, there is a basic, hey, if there's nothing written, this is what you go by. So that did grant.
Yeah, we've had one good right-of-way issue that we weren't able to show documentation on. The one we've just had a recent one we've tried to deal with, and it's still open, but we are definitely doing our right-of-way research and trying to not just go off the county's 20 foot. So,
well, I have some utility background, and sometimes things aren't put in the right of way they're supposed to, and you find them with a backhoe or a trencher, and
yeah, we don't want that neither. We have actual inspectors that follow our plant, and if they're not to depths, they get put to depths. So we don't want to get hit at all. That's very costly.
Right.
So.
All right. Is there any objections from the commissioners on signing any letter of support for Joy?
I don't object.
No? All right. We'll get you a letter of support, Tim. And before I let you go, too, I've had a lot of citizens ask me, what's the timeline on some of the fiber that...
I'm glad you asked.
Perfect time. I've had a lot of texts before the meeting. They seen you were on the agenda, so...
I actually had a contractor meeting yesterday morning, and we're wrapping up Vermillion County. So in the next few weeks, hopefully we'll be able to say that everything is in the ground and we're putting fiber and lighting fiber. So so we have a couple of hard creek shots that you can't anticipate that, and we've attempted a few shots, and we're going back with bigger drills and
doing
really
that.
get it done.
Okay. All right. So would it be safe to say in 60 days they should be able to?
Yeah, our deadline for the county to actually with the grant is the 30th of June.
June 30th. Okay.
But we would like to have a few months, at least, maybe 3, to reach out to the residents along that path we built and say, hey, if you want a free install, let's get it.
For sure.
So.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Alrighty, and the next one is NextLink. Same thing. The gentleman had called. I think Misty. Do you remember where he was traveling? I believe. Yeah. He had spoke to me on the phone. I think he had sent some information. Did he send something? Yeah. In your next one, your packet, NextLink. he wanted to call in, but he'd be traveling, so he wasn't sure he'd have good service. So I just told him not to worry about calling in, that if we had any questions, we could reach out to him. And I think they did maybe, I think they're like Joink. I think they have they're getting their final numbers together. Like Mainstream, when they sent our proposal to us, they actually had detailed numbers, what they were doing. And these look like they're still gathering those numbers to see what they're going to be doing. But again, I would say that any letter of support would help. Any of these, because they might award multiple, they may award just one big one, we don't know. So I think the county just says, hey, we're in support of each business that is willing to invest in Vermilion County when it comes to joinking or fiber and internet, I should say.
I agree.
Okay, so no objections on signing a letter of support for Next Link either?
Nope.
Okay. And then the last thing on the agenda we moved down was letter F, Highway for a Day program. I briefly spoke to both you guys about this. I've spoke to North Vermilion High School, I've spoke to our insurance carriers. I'm awaiting something back from South Vermilion. With the support of the commissioners, I'd like to start a new program here in the county called Highway for a Day program, where a student at North Vermilion or South Vermilion would spend the day with the highway department. You can call it job shadowing, where they would come in, they would see what the highway department does on a daily basis. They would check out the vehicles, they would see what the foreman does, see what the superintendent does. Insurance has told us that they shouldn't be riding in equipment out on county roads, but they can, however, get in the equipment and see how it works on site at the highway garages. And I think if we can spark interest in CDLs like a Park Heritage or construction management, it'd be a good thing for the county. So with your guys' support, I'd like to work with both schools to establish this program in the county.
Sounds good.
Good. All right. I will work with that, and I will keep you guys in the loop on that. Man, I can't believe we made it through the agenda already. That was quick. Do we have any other announcements, questions, comments, or anything before the board?
I would bring up the question, the foreman's pay at the highway garage.
Okay.
Perhaps at the next salary ordinance, we address that a little bit. That's not much incentive for being the foreman at a garage. I do realize they get a take-home truck, but
I think it's less
70 cents.
Yeah, it's less than $1. Yeah, I agree. And I think, Bill, since you brought that up, I think another good point to be made too is the current highway structure. We have a foreman in District 1 and a foreman in District 3. And I think I believe Mike kind of helps run District 2, but Mr. Tryon has been in the acting more or less foreman for a year and a half, 2 years. At the minimum, I'd like to see him, I don't want to say back pay, but I think that is the correct term. You know, he's been doing a lot of duties. He's been basically running that shop. I think the commissioner should look into that and work with the superintendent and see about getting him taken care of monetarily, because for you to do that job, go home, don't have a county cell phone, don't have the county truck, and you still are managing a group of 5 employees, I think the county should look at that and see that. But I am with you on the salary ordinance. I think in the budget, we definitely look at making that pay a little bit bigger, because 70 cents isn't enough to.
I wouldn't put my neck out.
You would
70 cents.
No,
Yeah.
not hardly. No, I agree, absolutely. So let's keep that on the forefront too, and we.
And that may be part of the issue why we haven't been able to put a foreman in that shop. So
Could
nobody
be.
wants to step up.
Well, for
to do it.
70 cents, yeah, you're absolutely right. So yeah, let's definitely keep that at the forefront. We'll get some emails going around on that.
Or it may not have been a priority to put a foreman in that shop. I
Yeah,
don't know.
I agree. And I think, Jeremy, if you talk to him, I think he'll tell you that he's more or less been the acting one. But I think it would be a good show of faith from the county to say, hey, we appreciate what you've done for 2 years. You know, this is what it's worth. But we also think moving forward, we've got to separate this pay too. Because you're right, who wants to step up and lead and be responsible for 70 cents? You know?
And we're talking another year before the salary ordinance is rewritten. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, well, and the thing is, if the commissioners,
unless it can be adjusted between now and then.
we could look at the highway budget and see, because there's certain line items you can transfer within, but at the end of the day, you still have to go to the council to get that transfer. So if the commissioners deem what an appropriate amount is, we could always go ask for a additional and say, hey, the commissioners have found that this is not enough, and we'd like to get this rectified, March or April of 2025, instead of waiting until November during budget hearings. So yeah, if you guys want to work on that, we can send emails back and forth, messages, and find with, because I don't know what that number is. Is it $2? Is it $1.50 more? I don't know. But I think we all can agree 70 cents isn't enough.
Right.
I don't think that's an appropriate amount there. So, all right, we'll definitely keep that on the forefront. Misty, did you have anything else before the?
Do not.
Well, I do see Julie out here. Julie, did you want to say anything? I know you're not on our agenda. Did you want to?
I just came to answer questions about the year-end report or go over it if you guys want to.
Land Zone Director of Park County EMS. I don't know, Bill. Have you went over that report yet?
I've seen, I think, bits and pieces of it. I don't think I've seen the full report.
Okay.
But I would thoroughly enjoy hearing from you up here. It's a big topic.
That means take the podium.
It's a huge topic, and I
Yeah,
think we'd be doing the Vermillion County taxpayers injustice by not hearing what you have there.
Yeah. If you want to I want to say you don't have to deep dive into the entire report because I think it's several pages. But if you want to give us a brief overview of it or a thing of what's been done the last year since you've
July 1st. So
July
6
1st,
months.
6 months.
6 months. There's several different things, so I'm just going to kind of give the breakdown.
What's your last name, Julie?
Lanzone, Lanzone.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So July 1st through December 31st is where I cut off so that we would just do our 6 month kind of review that we talked about. Total revenue during that time. Okay, so total revenue includes the startup money that we, I think it was $34,000 for all of the equipment and supplies that we didn't have that we would need for Vermillion County stuff. It includes the contract fee that you guys were already paying to Ileana that you paid to us. And it includes all the revenue that we brought in through our billing agency. So the total revenue during that time was $611,902.26. Total expenses, which is everything that was listed on the, so there's a big breakdown that I sent everybody on the first, and I broke it down by line, and those lines are how our budget is laid out. So those are our appropriation or our fund lines. So every penny that we spent on behalf of Vermillion County for ambulance service, $646,590.80. So the total difference was $34,688.54, which I thought came in, that's pretty close to where we all hoped that it would be. So I was somewhat impressed by that. I did a breakdown because we talked a lot about call volume, where it was at, the concentration in the county. The only thing I can't do with our software without pulling out every single run individually is determine what originates within the city of Clinton and the surrounding areas. So I can't separate out like Fairview and Clinton and some of the smaller areas around it. I tried really hard to, but. So in total and this is all just Vermillion County, we did 787 transports and 23 transfers. Those transfers were emergent transfers from Union Clinton to mostly Union Terre Haute. I think we did 1 or 2 to regional. Or there were a few transfers that we did that were patients that were put on hospice once they were in the hospital, and we transferred them home for palliative care at home because they were bedbound. So there's a big breakdown, and I'm not going to read all of them, but I did primary impressions so that we all kind of see what we're getting called for. And I did day of week and hour of day. The month of year, obviously, we only had 7 months, so I included Park County. But as you can tell, the busiest months for us typically are the summer months, so we call it trauma season. For some reason, we are seeding those numbers right now in January and February. So I'm not sure what's happening. There's something with the flu virus, the respiratory virus that's going around. Another thing that people were real concerned about was our call time, how long it's taking us to get to a scene. On average of all 787 runs, it was 9 minutes and 7 seconds. That's averaging out every single run. But then I broke it down by, it's kind of by area, but it tells you like actually 35.7% of those calls, we were on scene within 4 minutes and 59 seconds. So that tells me that probably 35.7% of our calls originate in the city of Clinton, just guessing, or really close to Perrysville Fire Station. We had a couple of those. So I was able to break down the call location in relation to 36, so just north and south of 36. And that includes the off-ramp and the on-ramp onto 63. So I was able to break that down. Out of 787 calls, 555 of those originated south of 36. 209 of those originated north of 36. I was going to try to do here in Newport because they said that's the exact middle of the county, but there was no way for me to break that down in our program either. I think that's as far as I was able to break it down. If you guys want to know more information about the breakdown, I'm happy to pull it up. I wasn't sure exactly what all you would want to see. And then I did the 2025 estimated cost. So that, I will say, it's based off of the budget that I requested at our budget hearings last year, which was very difficult because we hadn't even started coverage yet for this year. I budgeted high and I shot our revenue a little bit low because all of our fees changed based on a new state law that passed starting January 1st. So insurance companies will actually have to pay more now, which is nice because that's not passed on to our patients finally. But we don't know what that's going to look like. We don't know how that's going to change our revenue yet. It only affects a certain percentage of our patients. So although I know we budgeted a little bit high and we shot revenue a little bit low to leave us a little bit of bumper space there, I still think that we're going to come out probably just a little bit under where we need to be for 25. And I did send one earlier, I think in the beginning of November, and I forgot about our pay increases. When I did it, I forgot about our pay increases for the budget, so that one came in a little bit low. So what questions did you have? I know you said you had a lot of questions.
Well, I didn't say I had a lot of questions.
Oh.
I said it would be a disservice to the Vermilion County taxpayers if we didn't hear from you.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant you had a lot of questions from taxpayers.
And you got that report emailed to us, right, Julie?
I think I got Misty on there, but I don't know if I got Bill on there because it was like right as Tim announced that he was leaving, so I'm not sure if Bill got one.
I can text you his email or Misty can. That way you can send the report to him, or I'll forward it to him either way. But that way you can have his contact as well. And then once everybody gets that reviewed, if we have any questions, we might have like a meeting with you or something to go over anything. So,
Anybody heard any concerns from citizens at all? Any questions?
I can't say that I've heard any other than it's been the same with, Ileana, right? There's always that question of response time in the middle of the county. And that's always going to be a concern until the county either A, gets a third ambulance full-time, or maybe not even full-time, maybe Monday through Friday, right? Something to help with that middle of the county health township area. That's always, that's just been an issue since Eric's been here, or Eric was here, I should say, and now that, Park County's here. I will say I've heard nothing but good things about the employees of Park County EMS. Again, the only complaint I have is some response times, and that is in the middle of the county. And then, of course, when craziness happens and you have like 3 calls in a matter of 5 minutes, you can have 5 ambulances and it isn't going to matter, and those people have waited an extended time, but that's just extenuating, circumstances.
I did pull up, so we had several mutual aid calls that actually ended up very even between Park and Vermilion, where we were talking about blurring the county line and those crossing over. I think it was something like Park County crossed over 17 times and Vermilion County was 19 or something like that we helped each other out. But a lot of that was busy response, busy call times.
For sure. So, but no, I haven't heard anything else. So, keep up the good work. We appreciate it. But I think the Board of Commissioners will have to eventually decide on this potential building or what we're going to do with, sites and stuff like that. So,
I've talked to several of the employees about how they feel about their response time coming from Perrysville, because that was a big point of contention. I know when we took over, it's a long time to get from Perrysville to the center of the county. It's a long time to get from Clinton to the center of the county. So I think, though, we probably need to look at all of the options.
For sure.
I suggested at one point splitting the county into 2, like dividing it into north and south and putting a station in the middle of each section.
Yeah.
To even the response time, but it's all going to cost money and take time. So
yeah, for sure. And I think, and like I said, the commissioners are gonna have to decide, whether it's that building, another building, or is it, maybe staffing a third ambulance, and letting it rotate between the county, somewhere. We've got multiple fire departments that it could probably station at, short term. So that's something I think the new board's gonna review and look at it and bring you into the loop on that, because it's a major decision whatever way we go. So
I would suggest looking at the call volume, where it originates at, the finances that it costs and all the, you have to bring it all in.
for sure, yeah, it's a binder of information, right? From that
There's a lot of it.
from that to, what's the county's goals? Is the goals to provide equal response time, throughout the county? If it is, then you maybe got to break it down into threes. Or are you trying to center, like Clinton, where the population base is? But yeah, there's a lot of information. I told Misty before Bill got here, there's a binder full of it, right? And I said, you can sit down and spend hours and hours going over it. So, but we appreciate you in Park County.
That's also a big part of what the reporting and stuff is for, to help everybody know where our run volume is, how it's looking, what the cost is, what, cost and revenue and operationally.
Is there still a question over paying what was
No.
left over from last year?
And I need to apologize. So that, somehow the communication got mixed up. That has been sent. That was actually on our behalf. I had to reconcile the account, but there were 2 errors in the insurance fund, and our auditor, who would fix that, was out of town on vacation. So I don't know how it ended up going through the 2 meetings like it did, but that stuff, we were just waiting for that account to be reconciled first, and then I sent it over. I don't remember. Well, I sent it when I sent these over, so it was sometime the first week, I think, of January.
So 2024 is clear?
Yep.
Okay,
Everything is
good
done.
deal,
Yeah.
good deal.
That was that $34,000 that I said was left
Yep.
over, so, yeah.
And I was here in that meeting, I was sitting in the back of the room, but I remember the discussion around it.
Yeah, and it was a big miscommunication, because I was waiting on our auditor to reconcile. I said, I'm not gonna shoot a number when I know there's an error and we have to fix it first, so it was my fault that I didn't communicate it properly.
All right, you guys have any other questions for
If
Julie?
not, thanks for the report.
If not, thank you. And Julie's always available too. I know whenever I do have a question, you can call her, and she's always readily available if she's not out working a call or on a truck somewhere.
Yeah, I went on a transport the other day. It was an hour and 10 minutes. And it's been a minute since I've had to be in the back of the ambulance for that long. I was a little bit green. But my cell phone is at the bottom of the email, so I'm available anytime.
Thank you.
Perfect. Yep.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
guys.
Thank you.
All right. Board, if there's nothing else before the commissioners tonight, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I have a second.
I'll
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.
Here's my
Sean,
cell.
51 minutes.
This is best.
51 minutes.
Bridge 37 is where 200 East crosses over Norton Creek. It's to the east of, or to the west of Lilly and the airport, that area. It took a while, but I found it.
Thanks, Mark.
Yeah, hopefully that'll become the new kind of norm.
I told Bill, I said I was shooting for 30 minutes, but